Too many spaces between names in row 3 and row 4 and perhaps a few others. And we want to clean these up fast. Now, in a large list, leading spaces, particularly if there's only one, don't always jump out at you. You might have a much smaller zoom factor. You might have thousands of records. And then one day you happen to sort the information. I'm going to do a quick sort on this column here. Notice the last names are first. This would be a sensible thing to want to do when you've got a good deal of data. A fast way to do it on the Data tab is simple AZ sort. And sure enough, this would get our attention immediately. And there it is. We've got leading spaces, 2 of them there, 1 there, and we've got some multiple spaces. How do we deal with this? Pretty easy, pretty direct, with a function called trim. And by the way, there might be some trailing spaces, and how do we locate those manually? You can double click in a cell. You can also do this in the formula bar. There's none there, none there. This is going to get old, isn't it? We're going to find any this way? Well, I happen to know that there's one here right there. I'm going to double click in row 13. There's a trailing space there. You would also see that in the formula bar if you click up there off to the right somewhere, as opposed to maybe some other cell. Right here, click out there to the right, you see what's happening? You can certainly find them manually, but you know that's not what we're leading into here. The function called trim will effectively do 3 things for us. It's going to give us this data without any leading spaces, without any trailing spaces, and multiple consecutive interspaces like we see here will be reduced to 1. So it's simply equal trim. You don't know or you don't see that anything might have been done to the trailing spaces, but the results here do not contain trailing spaces. And so we'll see for the entire column. Again, the obvious leading and multiple interspaces are dealt with, and we don't even know yet that it's corrected here because these are still formulas. Now, a lot of you know that you can quickly turn these into results simply with the right mouse button, dragging them temporarily elsewhere and then right back on top of themselves to convert them to values real fast, just like that. And the example there, no trailing space. Now, not only do you want to do this for sorting reasons, but you also need to do this if you've got any kind of logic involved with trying to locate items. It's perhaps not too common to try and use other functions to find names, as it might be items, say sales items or codes or something, but just a simple example here will point out an issue. Imagine on a different worksheet you've got some names. Here's a name here. You want to see if this name is found in column A in this worksheet. You might use an if function. You might try a VLOOKUP. More direct probably would be the match function. How about a simple match here, equal match? We'll try and find Ryan Long in column A, that is. We're looking for Ryan, and here is the data we're looking at, and the match function requires us to put in a 0 to find that exact match. And are we going to find Ryan Long? No, we're not. And if you knew that leading spaces were in effect here, what you might do is to say, okay, I'd like to look somehow for the trimmed version of this, but that would get involved in using array formulas. So you better clean up your data, but could we do this here? Yeah, we could do a trim, couldn't we? We knew that there, but we're going to have to hit Control-Shift-Enter and do it with an array formula. Then it will find it in the 12th position. But it's much, much better to clean up the original data. And that would be the way we did this in column B. So backtracking a little bit here, and changing all this to simply be looking at column B. If we have our data cleaned up, we wouldn't need to worry about this. And it will find Ryan Long now in the 12th row of that range. There it is right there. This is Ryan Long without a trailing space. So there's no question that here and there you will need to use the trim function to clean up data. It's fast, it's easy, and you never want to be retyping data very much, and particularly not in a case like this where you've got thousands of entries.